In a scenario where a restaurant and a bank share a common parking lot and a light pole sits on the dividing line, a professional engineer or PE has determined that 2 of the 4 fixture heads on the pole can be powered by the restaurant and the other 2 by the bank. Because the parking lot is common, it is highly probable that the property owners or the relevant governing bodies have established an agreement regarding the maintenance and operation of the shared space. This includes the lighting. The professional engineer has provided the guidance that the parking lot light pole is on the dividing line. The pole has 4 fixture heads. 2 of the fixture heads are powered by the restaurant, and the other 2 are powered by the bank. This arrangement suggests a division of electrical responsibility. The property owners or governing authorities have likely divided the electrical responsibility for the light pole based on the fixture head locations. The restaurant is responsible for powering the 2 fixture heads on their side of the dividing line, and the bank is responsible for the 2 fixture heads on their side. Another consideration is cost distribution. The cost of electricity and maintenance for the light pole could be shared between the restaurant and the bank. The cost is distributed based on their respective electrical responsibilities for the fixture heads. Maintenance coordination is also important. The property owners or governing authorities should establish a maintenance schedule and plan. This will ensure that all 4 fixture heads are properly maintained and replaced when necessary. Additional considerations include agreement documentation. The arrangement should be documented in writing to avoid any disputes or misunderstandings in the future. Electrical safety is paramount. Proper electrical wiring and connections must be implemented to ensure the safe and efficient operation of the lighting system. Lighting requirements must be met as well. The fixture heads should provide adequate lighting for the shared parking lot. The lighting must meet safety and visibility requirements. And finally, aesthetics are important. The design and appearance of the light pole should complement the aesthetics of both the restaurant and the bank. In greater detail, consider the electrical responsibility that's been divided between the restaurant and the bank. This division likely stems from a desire to equitably distribute the costs and responsibilities associated with maintaining the shared parking lot. The agreement for this division is important, and it should outline specifically which entity is responsible for the electrical supply, maintenance, and repairs of each set of light fixtures. For the restaurant, this might involve tapping into their existing electrical infrastructure, potentially adding a new circuit dedicated to the parking lot lights. The bank would undertake a similar process, ensuring their electrical system can handle the additional load of the 2 light fixtures. Cost distribution is a key factor in shared amenities like parking lot lighting. The agreement should specify how the electricity costs are allocated. There are several ways to approach this. Firstly, each entity could have a separate meter installed to measure the electricity consumed by their respective light fixtures. This provides a direct and accurate measurement of usage but involves the expense of installing additional metering equipment. Secondly, the electricity consumption could be estimated based on the wattage of the fixtures and the hours of operation. This is a simpler approach, but it relies on accurate estimates and may not reflect actual usage. Thirdly, the electricity costs could be split evenly between the restaurant and the bank, regardless of actual consumption. This is the simplest approach, but may not be fair if one entity's fixtures consume significantly more power. Maintenance coordination is essential to ensure the parking lot lighting remains functional and safe. The agreement should define the process for reporting and addressing maintenance issues. This includes who to contact when a light fixture burns out, who is responsible for replacing the bulb, and who handles repairs to the electrical system. A regular maintenance schedule should be established. This schedule will include inspections of the light fixtures, wiring, and poles to identify and address any potential problems before they escalate. Agreement documentation is crucial for preventing future disputes and misunderstandings. The agreement should be in writing and signed by authorized representatives of both the restaurant and the bank. It should clearly outline the responsibilities of each party regarding the electrical supply, maintenance, and repairs of the light fixtures. The agreement should also specify how electricity costs are allocated and how maintenance issues are to be reported and addressed. Furthermore, the agreement should include provisions for resolving disputes that may arise in the future. Electrical safety must be prioritized in all aspects of the parking lot lighting system. All electrical work should be performed by qualified and licensed electricians who are familiar with local electrical codes and regulations. The wiring and connections for the light fixtures should be properly installed and maintained to prevent electrical hazards such as shocks and fires. Ground fault circuit interrupters or GFCI should be installed to protect against electrical shock in wet or damp locations. The light pole should be properly grounded to prevent electrical hazards. The lighting should meet specific requirements to ensure the safety and security of the parking lot. The light fixtures should provide adequate illumination to allow drivers and pedestrians to see clearly at night. The lighting should be uniform and consistent to avoid creating shadows or dark spots. The light fixtures should be shielded to prevent glare from interfering with drivers' vision. The lighting should comply with local lighting codes and regulations. Aesthetics should also be considered when selecting and installing parking lot light fixtures. The light poles and fixtures should be visually appealing and complement the overall design of the restaurant and bank. The lighting should not be overly bright or intrusive, as this can create light pollution and disturb the surrounding environment. The light fixtures should be energy efficient to reduce electricity consumption and minimize environmental impact. Considering the electrical responsibility, the division of responsibility needs careful planning. The restaurant and bank should each engage qualified electricians to assess their existing electrical systems. The assessment will determine if they have sufficient capacity to handle the additional load of the parking lot lights. The electricians will also determine the best way to connect the lights to their respective electrical panels, ensuring compliance with all applicable electrical codes and safety standards. The design of the electrical circuit should incorporate appropriate overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, to protect against short circuits and overloads. The wiring should be properly sized to handle the anticipated load and minimize voltage drop. The connections should be made using approved methods and materials to ensure a reliable and safe electrical connection. With cost distribution, the chosen method for allocating electricity costs should be fair, transparent, and easy to administer. If separate meters are installed, they should be calibrated regularly to ensure accurate readings. If electricity consumption is estimated, the estimate should be based on realistic assumptions and reviewed periodically to ensure they remain accurate. If electricity costs are split evenly, the agreement should acknowledge that this may not be perfectly fair, but is accepted as a simplified approach. Maintenance coordination requires establishing a clear chain of communication for reporting and resolving maintenance issues. A designated contact person should be identified for both the restaurant and the bank. This person will be responsible for receiving reports of maintenance issues and coordinating with the appropriate maintenance personnel. A system should be in place for tracking maintenance requests and ensuring that they are resolved in a timely manner. The maintenance agreement should specify the responsibilities of each party regarding the maintenance of the lighting system. Agreement documentation must be comprehensive and legally sound. The agreement should be reviewed by legal counsel to ensure that it is enforceable and protects the interests of both the restaurant and the bank. The agreement should be updated periodically to reflect any changes in the ownership, management, or operations of either entity. The agreement should be kept in a safe and accessible location so that it can be easily referenced when needed. Electrical safety requires adherence to all applicable electrical codes and regulations. The electrical system should be inspected regularly by a qualified electrician to ensure that it is in compliance with these codes and regulations. Any identified safety hazards should be addressed promptly. Employees of both the restaurant and the bank should be trained on basic electrical safety procedures, such as how to identify and report electrical hazards and what to do in the event of an electrical emergency. The lighting should provide adequate illumination to ensure the safety and security of the parking lot. The light level should be measured to ensure that they meet the minimum requirements specified in local lighting codes. The light fixtures should be positioned to minimize glare and shadows. The color temperature of the light should be appropriate for the application. Aesthetics should be considered in the selection of light fixtures. The fixtures should be compatible with the architectural style of the restaurant and the bank. The fixtures should be energy efficient and have a long lifespan. The fixtures should be easy to maintain and repair. The implementation of the shared lighting system requires careful planning and coordination between the restaurant, the bank, and any relevant property management companies or governing bodies. Firstly, a thorough assessment of the existing electrical infrastructure is essential. This assessment should be conducted by qualified electricians to determine the capacity of each building's electrical system and the best way to connect the parking lot lights. Secondly, a detailed lighting plan should be developed. This plan should specify the type, location, and wattage of the light fixtures, as well as the desired light levels and uniformity. Thirdly, a formal agreement should be drafted. This agreement should outline the responsibilities of each party regarding the electrical supply, maintenance, and repair of the lighting system, as well as the allocation of electricity costs. Fourthly, the electrical work should be performed by licensed and insured electricians who are experienced in commercial lighting installations. Fifthly, the lighting system should be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector to ensure that it complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Sixthly, a regular maintenance schedule should be established to ensure that the lighting system remains in good working order. The specific electrical requirements for the parking lot lights will depend on several factors, including the size of the parking lot, the desired light levels, and the local lighting codes. In general, a lighting system should provide adequate illumination to allow drivers and pedestrians to see clearly at night. The light level should be uniform and consistent to avoid creating shadows or dark spots. The light fixtures should be shielded to prevent glare from interfering with drivers' vision. The wiring for the parking lot lights should be properly sized to handle the anticipated load. The electrical circuit should be protected by overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses. The light poles should be properly grounded to prevent electrical hazards. The installation of the parking lot lights should be performed in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. A permit may be required from the local building department before the work can begin. The electrical inspector will inspect the work to ensure that it complies with the codes and regulations. The selection of the light fixtures should be based on several factors, including the desired light levels, the energy efficiency of the fixtures, the lifespan of the fixtures, and the aesthetics of the fixtures. Light-emitting diode or LED fixtures are a popular choice for parking lot lighting because they are energy efficient, have a long lifespan, and provide excellent light quality. High-pressure sodium or HPS fixtures are another option, but they are less energy efficient than LED fixtures and have a shorter lifespan. Metal halide fixtures are also an option, but they are not as energy efficient as LED fixtures and can produce a harsh, white light. The maintenance of the parking lot lights should include regular inspections of the light fixtures, wiring, and poles. Any damaged or deteriorated components should be repaired or replaced promptly. The light fixtures should be cleaned regularly to remove dirt and debris. The light poles should be painted or otherwise protected to prevent corrosion. The cost of electricity for the parking lot lights can be a significant expense. To minimize this expense, it is important to use energy-efficient light fixtures and to turn off the lights when they are not needed. A photocell can be installed to automatically turn the lights on at dusk and off at dawn. A timer can be installed to turn the lights off during periods of low traffic. The division of electrical responsibility, cost distribution, maintenance coordination, agreement documentation, electrical safety, lighting requirements, and aesthetics are all important considerations when implementing a shared parking lot lighting system between a restaurant and a bank. Proper planning, communication, and execution are essential to ensure a safe, efficient, and aesthetically pleasing lighting system. In addition to the technical considerations, it is also important to address the social and economic aspects of the shared parking lot lighting system. The restaurant and the bank should work together to create a sense of community and shared responsibility for the parking lot. This can be achieved by holding joint events such as parking lot cleanups or holiday celebrations. The restaurant and the bank should also consider the impact of the parking lot lighting system on the surrounding neighborhood. The lighting should be designed to minimize light pollution and to avoid disturbing nearby residents. The restaurant and the bank should be good neighbors and should work to create a positive relationship with the community. The shared parking lot lighting system is a complex project that requires careful planning and execution. By considering all of the technical, social, and economic aspects of the project, the restaurant and the bank can create a lighting system that is safe, efficient, aesthetically pleasing, and beneficial to the entire community. Thinking about the electrical aspect for a moment, consider the voltage. The voltage supplied to the light poles could be 120 volts, 240 volts, 277 volts, or 480 volts depending on the specific design of the electrical system. The choice of voltage will affect the size of the wiring and the type of light fixtures that can be used. The amperage will also vary depending on the wattage of the light fixtures and the voltage of the electrical system. The amperage can be calculated using Ohm's law, which states that amperage equals wattage divided by voltage. The wiring for the parking lot light should be sized to handle the anticipated amperage. The grounding is also crucial for electrical safety. The light poles should be properly grounded to prevent electrical hazards. The grounding system should be installed in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. The National Electrical Code or NEC provides detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems. The overcurrent protection is also essential for electrical safety. The electrical circuits for the parking lot light should be protected by overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses. These devices will protect the wiring from damage in the event of a short circuit or overload. The type and size of the overcurrent protection devices should be selected in accordance with the NEC. The wiring methods must also adhere to electrical standards. The wiring for the parking lot light should be installed in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. The NEC provides detailed requirements for wiring methods. The wiring should be protected from physical damage and environmental conditions. The connections should be made using approved methods and materials. The light fixture mounting should be secured properly. The light fixtures should be securely mounted to the light poles. The mounting hardware should be corrosion resistant and capable of withstanding the weight of the light fixtures. The light fixtures should be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The photocell or timer control should be installed, if one is used. A photocell can be installed to automatically turn the lights on at dusk and off at dawn. A timer can be installed to turn the lights off during periods of low traffic. The photocell or timer should be installed in a location where it will not be affected by other light sources. The inspection process should be done by the electrical inspector. The electrical inspector will inspect the lighting system to ensure that it complies with all applicable codes and regulations. The inspector will check the wiring, grounding, overcurrent protection, wiring methods, light fixture mounting, and photocell or timer control. The inspector will also verify that the lighting system provides adequate illumination. The documentation should be kept properly. All documentation related to the lighting system, including the electrical plans, permits, inspection reports, and maintenance records, should be kept in a safe and accessible location. This documentation will be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. The ongoing maintenance is very important. The parking lot lighting system should be inspected regularly to ensure that it is in good working order. Any damaged or deteriorated components should be repaired or replaced promptly. The light fixtures should be cleaned regularly to remove dirt and debris. The light poles should be painted or otherwise protected to prevent corrosion. If there are any issues, they should be resolved promptly. Any electrical problems, such as flickering lights or trip circuit breakers, should be resolved promptly by a qualified electrician. Ignoring electrical problems can lead to safety hazards and costly repairs. Finally, the energy efficiency of the light should be checked. Consider using energy-efficient light fixtures, such as light-emitting diode or LED fixtures, to reduce electricity consumption. A photocell or timer can be installed to automatically turn the lights on at dusk and off at dawn. The light level should be adjusted to provide adequate illumination without wasting energy. In summary, the shared parking lot lighting system requires careful planning, coordination, and execution. By considering all of the technical, social, and economic aspects of the project, the restaurant and the bank can create a lighting system that is safe, efficient, aesthetically pleasing, and beneficial to the entire community. The division of electrical responsibility should be clearly defined and documented. The cost distribution should be fair and transparent. The maintenance coordination should be efficient and effective. The electrical safety should be a top priority. The lighting should meet the needs of the users and the surrounding community. The aesthetics should complement the overall design of the restaurant and the bank. By following these guidelines, the restaurant and the bank can create a shared parking lot lighting system that is a valuable asset to their businesses and the community. It's beneficial to touch on the code compliance because it is essential. All electrical work must comply with the National Electrical Code or NEC and any applicable local codes. This includes requirements for wiring, grounding, overcurrent protection, and other safety measures. Permits and inspections are typically required for electrical work to ensure compliance with these codes. Regarding load calculations, the electrical load of the parking lot lights must be calculated to ensure that the existing electrical systems of the restaurant and the bank can handle the additional load. This calculation should take into account the wattage of the lights, the hours of operation, and any other relevant factors. The existing electrical panels might need to be upgraded to accommodate the new load. Also consider the energy efficiency further. Use energy-efficient light fixtures such as light-emitting diode or LED fixtures to reduce electricity consumption. LED fixtures are more expensive than traditional fixtures, but they have a longer lifespan and use significantly less energy. The energy savings can offset the higher initial cost over time. Then the light distribution should be addressed. The light fixtures should be positioned to provide uniform light distribution throughout the parking lot. This will help to improve visibility and safety. The fixtures should be shielded to prevent glare from interfering with drivers' vision. Finally, the long-term costs should be considered. The total cost of the parking lot lighting system should include not only the initial installation cost but also the ongoing cost of electricity maintenance and replacement. Energy-efficient fixtures and proper maintenance can help to reduce these long-term costs. In addition, it is important to consider the environmental impact of the lighting system. Energy-efficient fixtures and responsible disposal of old fixtures can help to minimize the environmental footprint. Remember that communication is key between the restaurant, the bank, and any relevant property management companies or governing bodies. Open and clear communication will help to ensure that the project is completed successfully and that all parties are satisfied with the outcome. Another point to be made is about the written agreement. A written agreement is essential to outline the responsibilities of each party regarding the electrical supply, maintenance, and repair of the lighting system, as well as the allocation of electricity costs. The agreement should be reviewed by legal counsel to ensure that it is enforceable and protects the interests of all parties. It would also be useful to think about the future scalability. The parking lot lighting system should be designed to be scalable to accommodate future expansion or changes in the parking lot layout. This can be achieved by using modular light fixtures and flexible wiring systems.